And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, always helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, investing, or refinancing. We would love to talk to you. We got Jennie Restrepo joining us in studio today. She always updates us on title insurance, title fraud, and some of these other issues. So we got another story, another bad guy in the news. Wesley Chapel man defrauds victims of $800,000 through quitclaim deeds. So we'll talk about that. Jenny's going to break that down with us. We also have Attorney Millie Athanason joining us on the second half of the program as well. We're going to touch on some Pinellas County stats. Did you realize that Pinellas County is the 7th most populous county in the state of Florida? So we're going to break that down, compare and contrast today's numbers of active properties, sold properties, absorption rate versus March of 22. That's, if you remember, when things were going a little bit crazy around here. People were making offers sight unseen and all that good stuff. So we'll touch on that. Also, 10 cities where homes sit on the market the longest. So there's some Florida cities on that. One of them is the farthest south city in the United States. So there's a little Cuba. What's that?
Cuba.
No, Cuba. Oh, that's that could be parts of Miami, I guess. Little yeah. Cuba, but Key West is on the list. So, anyways, good stuff coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And quick shout out to our friends over at Patriot Mobile. We want you talking to patriotmobile.com. Reach out for all of your mobile needs. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. PatriotMobile.com /Consumer QB /Consumer QB. PatriotMobile.com in partnership with the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, a couple of hot listings, and we'll jump right into it. You know, I got to go to my favorite one here. It's 221 Howard down there on Bel Air. Beautiful property. Jenny, you've been to this property. Can you describe this property for me here? 221 Bel Air, Howard Drive, Bel Air Beach.
Yes, I have been to this property, and Insured Title Agency has already done all the title work on there, so you're free and clear with any of those issues. But this home was spared, so if you're looking for a beautiful waterfront property that is move-in ready on Bel Air Beach, this one is good to go. And it is storm tested and storm approved, so there's that to keep in consideration. You have to see it to believe it. Gorgeous dock out the back, waterfront views. Check out the sunset. So many custom, beautiful areas inside of this home. The pictures, while the pictures are amazing, they just don't do it justice. So you need to schedule your personal walkthrough consultation with one of the MPP Realty team members today.
That's right. That's
Go
right.
see it.
Do it. 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3,500 square feet, 100 feet of water frontage on deep water access to the Gulf of America. You're also 1 block to beach access, where you can see the sugar sand beaches and the dolphin-filled waters of beautiful Pinellas County right here in Tampa Bay. 221 Howard Drive, Bel Air Beach, Florida. Beautiful listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. All right, so 1210 Paradise Lake Drive, Tarpon Springs. This is another single-family home with a beautiful pool and spa package on the back of the property, lighter color kitchen cabinetry, fireplace in the living room, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2 car garage. 1210 Paradise Lake Drive, Tarpon Springs. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Only in America, dreaming in red, white, and blue.
All right, Jennie Restrepo back in studio, Insured Title Agency, longtime friends of the program, and you know the bad guys are still trying to rip people off out there, Jenny.
They are. I mean, they're not keeping us in business because we are happy to work with law-abiding citizens, but it gives me no shortage of content when I come here to the show is that, yep, crime is still happening, but luckily, I guess the silver lining on this story is that it has a happy ending in that this person did stand trial and was found guilty, charged with a crime and restitution, and has to repay the funds that were stolen. And then what happened is this gentleman recorded fake, fraudulent quit claim deeds, forged signatures. So the victim was probably completely unaware of what was happening until each one of these properties was then mortgaged to the maximum amount, whereby this title fraudster then collected those proceeds by getting the funds out of the house. It's basically like a cash out refinance. Yeah. And so thank you to our lawmakers. This was right here in the Tampa Bay area. It was involving Hillsborough County Sheriffs, I'm sure Tampa PD, the Secret Service. Everybody was on this one, but it does start to send the message. Our Tampa Bay lawmakers are getting on top of this. Law enforcement is enforcing. But the hardest part about title fraud is that while it's a crime, it's not a chargeable offense. So when these criminals are recording fake deeds and taking money out against homes that they don't rightfully own, our state's attorney's office is trying to work within the chargeable offenses, within the crimes that are on the laws that are on the books today, to charge them with the right offense that the evidence supports. And so that when they go to trial, a judge and a jury are able to find them guilty when they are guilty. And so it's happening. It's all happening. It's just, unfortunately, criminals move faster than lawmakers because we can't preemptively make something illegal until somebody does it. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, though, because it's a crime, but how's it not chargeable? I mean, and I understand what you're saying, the sentiment of what you're saying, but yeah, a lot of these, situations, it's like, Al Capone and the gangsters, right? They had to charge them on tax evasion and RICO charges. So it is interesting, though, the way some of these crimes, apparent crimes, seem to be difficult to prosecute. And then you also have the challenge of the witnesses, the witnesses being able to testify or willing to testify. I was listening to one show and they said something about, it was people down in South St. Pete or something. They said, look, I don't want to be on a jury or go to a jury trial because, or be a witness because where I'm from, snitches get stitches, like, she said something like that.
In these crimes, I mean, we've pretty much got the fraudster and then the victim. So the victim is the one that had their title stolen or had money taken out against their names. And usually those people are ready to stand up and say, no, I didn't sign that. Yes, this is my property. Right. Or sometimes the victim is deceased. Right. So we've got the heirs of that person saying, no, my mom can't sign a deed after she passed away 2 years ago. Sure. And we've seen that. We've seen a signature that's dated and then a death certificate that precedes that signature by 2 years. Right. Okay, so there is no bottom or shame in how low they're willing to go stealing properties from people who are deceased and things like that. But thankfully, we're kind of catching up with it. It's all falls under some sort of financial crime. Yep. But then how do we set a precedent? So precedent is what happens in a court of law when the same crime is charged and then that person is found guilty and then what they're sentenced to starts to kind of fall in line with a pattern. And so some crimes that have been around for a while, they have sentencing guidelines and it's if this on your first offense, then this. If this, then this. But with title fraud, we don't have that precedent yet. So we're working on it. I think Florida, it's on the radar for Florida, for our lawmakers, for our judges, for our state's attorneys. And, this isn't the first story that I've now heard here in Tampa Bay where after going through a trial, the criminal is been found guilty and the victims have been made whole. So that's at least the step in the right direction.
It is. And these, like you said, the extent that these people will go to, these fraudsters, these, criminals in a sense, so for example, Matt Cox, remember he was talking about, I saw one of his shows where he was talking about going out to Vegas. He would go out to Vegas, put on a polo shirt and dress as if he's U.S. Census or something like that, U.S. HUD or whatever it wanted to be. You put whatever on a shirt, people make you think. So they get these vagrants and these homeless people, and they say, "Hey, I'm doing a census update. I need to get your name and your date of birth. Where were you born?" They know the questions to ask, and these people volunteer that information for $50 or $100.
Some people that are unhoused will just tell you, I'll give you $50. What's your social security number? Yep. I mean, some criminals, like I said, there's no bottom to how they will exploit people to get what they want. But, back in Matt Cox's day, that's the early 2000s, he actually sometimes had to get these indigent people to pretend to be the person, go into the title office and sign stuff and get the check.
That's right.
It's more electronic now.
Yeah.
So it's not even the same as having to actually get a human to pass themselves off as a person that's a fake person. That you can do almost all of this stuff electronically now.
Fraud is going to be there. You got to be diligent. You got to be smart.
You have to protect yourself.
We're talking with Jennie Restrepo here, Insured Title Agency, insured-title.com. And I'm your host, Brandon Rimes. And let's do a quick update here, market stats. So Pinellas County, 7th most populous in the state of Florida. Pinellas County, non-distressed update for you here as far as the inventory, listings, and absorption rate. So you have 8,653 active listings right now in Pinellas County. Out of those 8,653, 1,551 sold. Okay, that gives us a 17.9, call it 18% absorption rate. And if you divide that out, it's 5.6 months supply of inventory. So there's 5.6 months supply of inventory. Take that back to March of 22 when things were really gangbusters and crazy. It was 0.5 months supply of inventory.
Yes.
And there was 1,100 properties active. A difference of 7,541 active listings. So in other words, 7.8 times more actives. In other words, 7.8 times more choices for buyers than there was in 2022 as today.
Okay, so what I am thinking of right now that I want to add to this is if you're thinking about buying, it is time to get off of the fence.
Yeah.
There is a lot of inventory that works in your favor as a buyer. And so I just want to share that if you're not sure where to start in your home buying journey, if it's just an idea or maybe you don't think it's even possible for you and your family, I would like to invite you. I also serve on the Women's Council of Realtors. That is a group here in the Tampa Bay area and throughout the whole country. But we are at the Tampa chapter, and we are hosting a free, and I said it free, that's why I bring it up now on the Consumer Quarterback Show, a free home buying seminar where we're going to talk about the programs that are available through the city of Tampa, down payment assistance programs. It's going to happen in time before Hometown Heroes gets refunded again in July. And this is your opportunity to just come, a safe space, ask questions, and hear non-branded information. So this isn't a pitch from a specific realtor. This isn't a pitch from a specific homeowner. This is honestly just a service to the community. Get some information, ask your questions, and then if you want to have a one-on-one consultation, we will have lenders and agents available for you to schedule a personal consultation with. But the idea is that you get that information and find out for you. We'll have a credit repair specialist, so maybe it is in your future. But like the biggest hurdle to buying a house is I'm a renter, I'm a tenant, I have a good rental history. How do I make that leap? And there are a lot of options for you here in the Tampa Bay area, and there's a lot of inventory. So we have sellers that want to sell you their house. And if you are renting and you're paying $2,500, $3,000, $3,500 for a property, I promise you, there is a path to home ownership for you. So June being home ownership month here in Florida, please come to our free homebuyer seminar that is June 21st at the North Tampa Branch Library from 11 to 1, and there will be snacks.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, get out there and, hey, it's a great time to buy. You got sellers that are on the market and they're saying, hey, look, I'm willing to offer concessions. I'll pay for your closing costs. We'll buy down the rate for you. There's all these different ways that you can get creative. You can even, look at using seller concessions in a lot of different ways. But we got to take a quick break, though. More with Jennie Restrepo coming up. Insured Title Agency, insured-title.com, consumerqb.com. You can submit an email form right there on our website, consumerqb.com. Submit the email. Call the hotline. We greatly appreciate all the calls, too. We've seen an uptick in calls lately. Reach out to the show at 813-917-1894. 813-917-1894. 10 cities where homes sit on the market the longest. We've got that story coming up and more with Jennie Restrepo. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rimes here. Did you know that we buy houses cash We will close quickly and give you a fair offer on your home or residential properties, even commercial properties, and we will give you a fair cash offer, close quickly, and be diligent when you're shopping these types of scenarios, because a lot of the wholesalers, the flippers out there, they will sign you up on an as-is contract, and they will shop that contract and try to find a buyer, but they may not find the buyer, and they won't close. So this is Brandon Rimes, 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. Brandon Rimes, we buy houses cash and fast. Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, the official Pinellas County restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark. If you're facing an insurance claim, don't just trust the insurance company to have your best interests at heart. This is Brandon Rimes, Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to rightwaypa.com, our friend Derek Coble at rightwaypa.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, 10 cities where homes sit on the market the longest. We have that story coming up here with Jennie Restrepo in studio with us, representing Insured Title Agency. And Jennie does a lot with the real estate board as well, locally here in the state. I want to talk more about the property taxes. I'm hoping that goes through. I want to ask you if you got any updates on that one as well. So we have a couple of hot listings here, and we'll jump right back into it. I like these listings here on 10129 Little Road. This is a nice property. You have this is perfect for a business owner, chiropractor, doctor, dentist, anything along those lines. 2337 square feet. You have over an acre of land of office. This is a commercial property, commercial office, currently operating as a chiropractic office. 10129 Little Road, Newport Richey. You have an acre of land, plenty of parking, ADA compliant entrance and bathroom, new roof installed in 2020, functional lit monument as well for high visibility. 2,337 square feet, 10129 Little Road, Newport Richey. Another one of our awesome commercial listings from the Platinum MVP team. By the way, we list vacant land, commercial and residential properties, and we maximize the exposure and the profit on the sale of our listings by featuring our listings in the entire Gulf Coast of Florida. We're broadcasting our listings in ways that no other real estate company can. We got a property on Old Sycamore as well. This one's in Old Sycamore, Land O'Lakes, Florida, 10711 Old Sycamore Loop. 2.5, two-car garage, 2046 square foot single-family home, huge backyard, lighter color kitchen cabinetry, and beautiful granite countertops there, stainless steel appliances, tile flooring. Great opportunity, beautiful community pool there with playground and more. 10711 Old Sycamore Loop, Land O'Lakes, and you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, 10 cities where homes sit on the market the longest. Jennie, the story kind of talks about the median income price, $416,900, while some of the 10 markets that take the longest for sellers, those homes went to $294,000. But let's hit on a couple of these. Port Lavaca, Texas, 188 days on the market. Average home value is $183,000 over there. You have Ruidiso, New Mexico, 130 days on the market. Key West was the one that caught my eye. Key West.
Well, the average house in Key West, I think, is probably like $4 million. So
Yeah, well, it's
that
$1
could
million.
be that could be a contributing factor.
126 days on market. Average home value $1,070,000. So over $1 million.
That's the average. So
Yep.
you can imagine what.
390 for sale down there. So yeah, it's just a unique buyer. I mean, who wants to
For
live at the
sure.
bottom of the Keys, right? I mean, that's a retirement type situation.
If you don't
most
need to
likely.
leave there, let's go.
An entrepreneur that works from home.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, that entrepreneur that works on the computer and conducts sales calls or makes trades online. That's so. Anyways, number 3 on the list. There's Elk City, Oklahoma. I wanted to get to one coming up here that's close to where my hometown, Del Rio, Texas. Number 5. That's 122 days on market. Lake Charles, Louisiana, and number 6, Clewiston, Florida is a tie for number 6. So Clewiston is the second city that's in Hendry County. Hendry County is where I'm from, small town called LaBelle, east of Fort Myers, but just east of that is Clewiston, Florida, who is their average days on the market, 120 days on markets, and you have an average home value of $245,000 and about 121 homes for sale there. Down in Clewiston, Florida, shout out to Hendry County down there, Captain Hendry.
You're like, hey, family.
The story that happens, well, yeah, some of the guys we played football with and guys, teams like that. But, the story of LaBelle, where did LaBelle come from? I can't remember if this one's been, got the blue check mark, been checked. But I think it was something like Captain Hendry, who settled that county, had 2 daughters. One was Laura and the other was Belle. So he named that town LaBelle. So
He's a
there
good
you
father.
go.
He knew not to leave one of his daughters out.
Yeah, exactly. Get in trouble for that, man. Yeah, and he probably still has his wife mad at him a little bit. Who knows? Just kidding. All right, Jenny. So let's talk about, we got property taxes, and we also wanted to give a shout out to Property Fraud Alert. That's where
Yes.
you can do that search for any county.
Yeah, so just to wrap up the story from the first segment is I always come on and I have these scary stories, and then you're owning your property thinking, what the heck am I supposed to do now? I don't want someone to record a fake deed against my house. And so the great thing about that is there is already a free service called Property Fraud Alert. Okay, all you have to do is Google Property Fraud Alert your county. I know that almost all of the counties here in Florida offer this service or something similar. I think within the next 2 years, every county in Florida will be offering some sort of free title monitoring service. And so you go to the website, if it's Hillsborough County, you put in your information, you put your name. Now, if you own property in the name of a business, you can register the name of your business as well. And then I want you to sign up for text alerts, because we know that we've been losing all these emails. Okay, I only get like 7,000 of them a day. So let's not just do email. Of course, it's your decision, but I highly recommend sign up for those text alerts. And then if anything gets recorded in your name, you will get a text notification and you will be able to get on it right away.
That's a text you want to get.
That is a text that you want to get. Not like the one that I got, the fake one from the fake DMV saying that the money and stuff. And it's like, just go to this link that's FLDMV dot I'm about to scam you / this is fraud.
Yeah.
Don't
do that one.
Don't do that one. Do not click that as fake.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you see them, you get them everywhere now. You get them on messages through your different
Everywhere.
social medias accounts.
Your bank has been hacked. Click this link. I'm like, I don't bank with that
Don't
bank.
click links.
But the thing is, they don't care. If
Yeah.
they send out 10,000 of those and they get 200 of people that actually bank with that bank, and then out of those 200, somebody actually clicks on it.
Yeah.
This is the effort, the amount of effort the fraudsters go to, and the return
Well,
of
you know who it
investment is they don't care. They will cast the widest net.
I think I know who's behind it. It's that Nigerian prince. Remember him? Remember him?
What?
He started that.
I
a
married
long time
him.
ago.
That's my husband.
The Nigerian prince. Yeah.
I am a Nigerian princess, didn't you know?
Oh man, I still got his first email. I'm gonna have to look back to that one and see if I can compare the
Don't
SIM
send him
cards.
money either.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do
Instead,
it.
call Insured Title Agency and we'll keep you safe.
Insured-title.com. Insured-title.com. All right, good stuff. Thanks for coming in, and hopefully the property taxes come down too. I mean, there's some talk about that.
Well, we got to
didn't
be
get
able to
it.
pay the bills of the county, so let's figure out a good way to do that.
Yeah, let's tax the tourist is what I heard.
We
Taxing
do
the tourist.
already, quite
All
a bit.
Millie Athanason coming up next. Consumer Quarterback Show online at consumerqb.com. Attorney Millie Athanason coming up.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, we're back. Brandon Rhymes here in studio. We got attorney Millie Athanason joining us in studio here on the program. We're going to talk probate avoidance, ladybird deeds, and some of these other terms that you may have heard of in the real estate space. So making sure that, in other words, you have those tough conversations with family members. And a lot of times you got to have these conversations because real estate, probate, it's costly. It takes a long time. And we'll dive a little deeper into that here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team. We always feature our listings on air. Strategy Works helps us sell our listings faster for more money. Maximum profit on the sale of your real estate, helping you sell faster for more money. And ultimately, the least amount of headaches is always a good way to go. I've always heard that's a good strategy as well. 2547 Lexington Oak Drive. This one's in Brandon, Florida. I love this townhome. This is a beautiful townhome. 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 1-car garage, 1917 square feet. You have new flooring, fresh carpet throughout. All bedrooms have remodeled en-suites with marble look tile. You have frameless glass showers, kitchen appliances. You got an EV down there in the garage. Beautiful community pool as well. I love that center island in the kitchen. Lighter color cabinetry, stainless steel appliances. Great opportunity to buy at 2547 Lexington Oak Drive, Brandon, Florida. All right, Villa Lago. This is a new listing over in Lakeland. We've got a property on Villa Lago. Beautiful pool home on 1839 Villa Lago Drive in Lakeland. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3-car garage, 2436 square feet, quarter-acre lot. Open concept layout filled with natural light, lighter color kitchen cabinetry, and stainless steel appliances. Beautiful pool in the backyard there overlooking the small lake there, a pond. Beautiful property. Resort-style amenities, pool, spa, clubhouse, fitness center, tennis courts, pickleball courts, playground, basketball courts, and scenic lakes. 1839 Villa Lago Drive. Beautiful single-family home, 3-car garage. Barrel tile roofing there in Lakeland, Florida. You can see all of our real estate listings, and if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or refinancing, and we have our mortgage license now, we can definitely help you buying, selling, investing, refinancing. Reach out to the Consumer Quarterback Show. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, quick shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill, International Plaza Mall. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance, very friendly waitstaff over there as well. I'm looking at their lunch menu here, brand new lunch menu, $12.95 menu items, chicken Caesar salad. You got margarita flatbreads, pasta, spaghetti bolognese, chicken and fettuccine. Awesome food there. Say hello to Chef Oscar Ramirez and the general manager Gabriel. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers. All right, we got attorney Millie Athanason in studio with us. And Millie, yeah, what a topic, right? I mean, probate avoidance. You look at all the money that's being missed and the time, because a lot of times the family members are expecting money immediately.
Yes.
Only to wait months and months and months.
Absolutely. It's definitely an issue. And, you know, what happens, unfortunately, is families don't sit down to have these conversations. And a lot of people just don't plan.
Right.
And I don't think it's because they think they're going to live forever. I think it's just a topic that they're uncomfortable with. And
Awkward.
Yeah, it's awkward. Nobody wants to talk about dying. And unfortunately, it's a reality. I mean, we're all going to die and pay taxes. Welcome to America, right? Or welcome to life. And so, I mean, it's something that we should all be talking about.
Yeah. Adulting 101 now, they call it. I've seen some college classes called Adulting 101, trying to, figuring out the basics, figuring out the basics here. But yeah, it's one of these things we don't learn in school, right? These are the scenarios. What is a ladybird deed? What's a quick claim deed? All these questions. And then the problem is some people kind of act like they know it all, and they act like they know, and then they get in these bigger problems, coat hangers, you got a pile of coat hangers here. clothes hangers, and it's just a mess.
Yeah, and they don't, unfortunately, know what they're doing, and they're making assumptions on things. We get that all the time with relatives coming in after somebody has passed away, and, they're asking us questions like, well, why don't we get this, and why don't we get that?
Yep.
And then you have to, be the one to unfortunately explain to them why that's not going to happen. And, again, sitting down with your family members and kind of setting out the parameters is important. Now, I will say, since COVID, a lot more people have become more proactive with getting a will done, with doing some estate planning, because as you recall, during COVID, people were just dying left and right unexpectedly. So it's definitely become a topic that people are more interested in talking about, but certainly not to the level that we need to be talking about. The other concept is that understanding the difference between documents that are employed and utilized once you pass away versus documents that are needed during your lifetime. Yeah. So for example, when people come into the office and we're doing, let's say, a will package or a trust package, one of the things that we always discuss and I recommend are what's called advance directives. Okay, and what that consists of is a living will, a designation of health care surrogate, a designation of pre-need guardian, and a durable power of attorney. And to explain those briefly, a durable power of attorney is a document that allows you to step into the shoes. If you're the attorney, in fact, or the agent of that person, you're literally stepping into their shoes, and you can do anything that they can do. So, for example, they can buy and sell real estate if the power of attorney says that on behalf of the person. They can open and close bank accounts. They can invest, reinvest, move investments, apply for insurance, apply for government benefits. All of those things. And it depends on what the durable power of attorney says. Mm-hmm. Ours is quite a lengthy document. We have a lot of options for people to choose from as to what they can allow their agent or attorney, in fact, to do for them. So it allows that to happen while the person is alive. Yeah. However, the minute the person is deceased, the power of attorney has no relevance. Okay, and then the will and or the trust would take over. So that's just one example of the documents that are used, that we use. We call it estate planning, but it's really a document that's part of your end of life strategy, if you will. Because let's face it, we're living longer. Everybody's going to get some sort of ailment, disease, or something, right? Yep. I mean, we all pray to just die peacefully in our sleep, and we don't know what happened, but that isn't usually what happens, right? Yeah. So, that's true. You got to be prepared for that. The other thing that we have is the designation of healthcare surrogate, and that's a special power of attorney that's limited to making healthcare decisions on behalf of the person that you're the agent for. So it's very helpful because, a lot of times hospitals and physicians' offices aren't going to talk to you. Let's say you're the significant other of a person. That doesn't mean that the hospital is going to automatically listen to you as about what to do with your significant other unless they have this designation of healthcare surrogate. Yeah,
because you might have an older sibling there, or the son or daughter saying, "Oh no, she wouldn't want this," and you're.
Yeah, so
that's what happens. Terry Schiavo, right?
Yeah, exactly. Terry Schiavo. Well, that's a living will. That's a little bit different. So a living will applies to a situation when you have a basically your end of life, you're terminal, and you're brain dead. You're in a vegetative state. Right. Okay, and that was what Terry Schiavo case was about. She was in this persistent vegetative state. Yep. The husband wanted to basically shut off the machines. Her parents did not want to do that. She did not have a living will document.
Her kids, maybe, right? Was it her kids?
It was the husband versus her parents.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and what happened is that she didn't have a living will. Okay. So they went to court to fight about it. and the court ruled in favor of the husband, and they were allowed to turn off the machines. It was, as you know, it was very big. It was televised nationally, and all because she didn't have a document that
now why would the
specifies.
court err on the side of the husband? Is it just because he's closer, or is it that, why do you think they ruled that way?
Well, because she didn't have a living will, and he was considered the next of kin.
Next of kin, got it.
Yep. I think that's where that came from.
Right.
Because she was, legally married to the man, even though they were sort of separated when they didn't have the best of marriages. And so that was one of the reasons the parents were fighting so hard, because they didn't believe he was actually acting in her best interest.
Got it.
That rather he was acting in his own interests.
Yeah.
That it would have been profitable for her to pass. If that makes sense.
Gosh,
okay.
I hear it.
Yes.
Let me plug our number in case anybody wants more information on any of these. We're talking to Millie Athanason here, and she was just talking about living will, trust, healthcare surrogates, durable power of attorney, designation of healthcare. There's all these questions. It's kind of like this. There's 5 to 6 documents that you can't live or die without, right? You shouldn't live or die without. You should have these, especially if you're, maybe in your third or fourth quarter, however you want to look at that. So reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894. If you have questions about this, or if you have a friend or family member that may be in this position, but they just quite haven't raised their hand or called you, texted you and said, hey, this is something I've been thinking about, maybe you can help them in this situation. Again, probate avoidance, ladybird deeds, quitclaim deeds, living will, trust, healthcare surrogates, durable power of attorney, all those different documents. You could reach out to the show hotline. We'll put you in touch with Millie right away. It's 813-917-1894, and also at consumerqb.com. You can submit an email right through our website, consumerqb.com. And we get calls and texts all the time from the audience, so we really appreciate that. The uptick in calls really helps us. We got a few deals going on right now with some of our show listeners, some of our P1 listeners, they call that. You know what the P1, have you heard that phrase before? Do you guys know what that is? P1? Preset 1, yeah.
Preset 1. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that for a while. Then I listened to talk radio. I'm like, oh, got it. Yeah, because we've got some really good ones out there. Thomas and Helen, and so a lot of the people that we do deals with. So appreciate that. Millie Athanason in studio with us. So Millie, continue on. Yeah, we're talking about all these different documents. What are some others that come to mind?
So yes, one of them is the designation of pre-need guardian. With people living so much longer, we're seeing higher rates of dementia and Alzheimer's, and in those situations, people can no longer make decisions for themselves because they don't know what's going on. So you have the ability to designate in advance while you're still mentally acute and aware. You can designate in a document that you pre-file with the court that states who you would want to be your guardian in the event that you were not able to properly exercise your rights, if you will, as an adult and make these decisions for yourself.
Yeah.
So you can designate somebody, because if you don't designate somebody, some relative that's mischievous or something could try to come in and apply, or they may have to use a court-appointed guardian, and that could be expensive, and there's been problems in certain court systems with the court-appointed guardians. They are now very much more strict with them. But having said that, you can actually designate in advance who you would want in case that, God forbid, happens to you, because you don't know. That could happen. We're seeing much more instances of it. I mean, there's still lots of clinical research and preclinical research being done on the topic, but they don't have solutions for it, obviously as of yet, right? So these documents become important. So that's another thing that, you could do to prepare. And again, it's part of that advanced directives package that we typically offer all people when they come in to do their wills and their trusts. Because again, the will doesn't take effect unless you pass or until you pass away.
Yeah.
A trust, on the other hand, does take effect the minute that you sign it.
Okay.
It's actually a living document, and since you're the grantor, the person that makes the trust, you have the ability to manage your own assets and buy and sell things in and out of the trust as long as it's a revocable or living trust. up until the time that you pass away, at which time then the successor trustee that you appoint would take over that responsibility.
Yeah.
But either way, we still do these end-of-life planning documents or the advance directives with either of those, with either the trust or the wills, because I recommend them. I think they're important. A lot of people have issue with doing a durable power of attorney if they're like young, because they're thinking, well, if somebody can stand in my shoes and do everything that I can do and they have a copy of this document, can't they do something to hurt me? Well, yes, they can, but then you wouldn't want to pick somebody that you think that would hurt you.
You wouldn't
right?
trust someone like that.
Right, exactly. And so sometimes people will wait till they're a little bit older to do the durable power of attorney.
Yeah.
But I think the other documents are absolutely essential if you're going to engage in that, or obviously we're all going to be dying, so we're all going to need that.
Absolutely. All right, more with Millie Athanason coming up. Quick break, right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check her out online at athanasonlaw.com, athanasonlaw.com, also online at consumerqb.com. You can see all of our experts, contributors there. You can submit an email form through the website, all these different documents that you need: probate avoidance, ladybird deed, what is it, living will, healthcare surrogates, durable powers of attorneys. So many different ways that we can help you here on the program. Right back, quick break.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke, American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune, at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg. Online at David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Blue Moon Estate Sales of Pinellas County for all of your estate sale needs. BlueMoonEstateSales.com. Reach out to Jennifer. Tell her you heard about her here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. BlueMoonEstateSales.com. And stop by their store, the Blue Moon Store, at 1479 South Belcher in Largo. 1479 South Belcher in Largo. And that's BlueMoonEstateSales.com. SJ Movers and Junk Removal, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. 727-717-0846 for all your moving and junk removal. 727-717-0846. SJ Movers and Junk Removal. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing, we would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. In studio, we're talking with Millie Athanason about the different types of estate planning documents that you can't live or die without. Interesting things, the different scenarios that we find in real estate. We see this happen all the time where, people, the loved ones have, unfortunately, a family member pass away, and they say, oh, well, how quickly can we sell? How quickly can we get the money? Well, if it has to go through probate, you're talking months and potentially, a year or more for these. So we're going to describe what a ladybird deed is. Also, Pasco County stats coming up here in just a moment. We're going to update you with the latest MLS data coming right from the Pasco County statistics from the realtor boards here in Tampa Bay. All right, we got a property at 10431 Southeast 127th Lane in Bellevue, Florida. This is a listing from Jamie on our team. This is up in the northern audience, so you get a little bit more of that country, that rural living up there. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,680 square foot. You have a 2002 double wide here. Now, you can bring your four-wheelers and all types of RVs and get out there and enjoy that area out there. Open floor plan, high ceilings, owner-motivated, and you have land to move around here. You got some acreage there on this property. Open floor plan and a great opportunity to buy real estate in Bellevue, Florida. All right, let's take a look at our Americamp Road. I like this one. This one's in Ocala. Americamp Road. This one is a commercial property, hardware store that we have for sale. A thriving hardware store with lucrative income streams, 5,725 square foot, basically an acre of land there, retail, and you have multiple income streams coming in. He's renting out multiple spaces there, generating multiple income opportunities, and you have, of course, the thriving hardware store there as well. 9594 Southeast Americamp Road in Ocala, Florida. You can see all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. All right, Millie, I want to have you describe what a ladybird deed is, and then after that I'm going to talk about this Pasco County stats. I thought we'd throw some Pasco in there.
All right, sounds good. Well, a ladybird deed is basically an enhanced life estate deed. That's the other way, or the other name that people call it. And what that means is that basically you're deeding your property to someone, but you are reserving for yourself a life estate, which means that you have the right to continue to live in that home until the day that you pass. And it also means that the people that you're deeding it to cannot sell the home from underneath you because you have the right to a life estate in that property. People like it because it deeds the property to someone so that it wouldn't have to pass through probate.
Great idea.
While the person is alive. However, you always want to consult with an attorney, because people will walk into the office and they'll say, I want a ladybird deed. They don't really understand the parameters of it. So I always start asking a lot of questions to make sure I understand what they're trying to accomplish,
right,
to make sure that that's the right vehicle for them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So that's a great way to do it then. If you have an elderly family member that, hey, you got to live somewhere, they want to have that right to remain and retain that ownership interest in the property. And then you have the known heir. This is the oldest son or whatever it might be, oldest daughter that, hey, this is the next of kin in a sense. That's going to be a life estate, so they're going to live there for life. It's deeded to them. That way it does not have to go through probate.
That is correct.
That's our goal there. All right, a quick update on Pasco County non-distress sales. This is going to be the updated information directly from the Realtor Board. So Pasco County, there's 4,579 active listings. 1,247 sold last month. That gives us a 27.2% absorption rate. Now, let's compare and contrast that back to March of 22. The absorption rate in March of 22, remember that fast going time? 0.4 months supply of absorption rate, 227%. 227% was the absorption rate. Right now, it's 27%. I'm looking at the month supply here, my bad. So 0.4 months supply of inventory as compared to 3.7 months supply of inventory now.
Wow.
So 3.7 months supply, and then back then it was 0.4. So the inventory was turning over in less than a month.
Right.
Now you have March of 22, 665 active listings, whereas right now active listings there's 4,579, a difference of 3,914 more active listings and 6.9 more inventory. So you have more opportunities for buyers, and that's kind of what you were telling me before. You're kind of hearing that it's more of a buyer's market.
Yes, absolutely. And unfortunately, I mean, there are a lot of good deals to be had, because people are walking away from properties that were damaged severely in the 2 hurricanes that we've had. So it's an unfortunate situation, but I think that's what's happening because there's a lot of waterfront property in Pasco. Yeah,
it's tough because some of them they're not worth what they owe. The bank, this and that. Now you're going to see short sales coming out. You're going to see bank owned, people just walking away. There's going to be all those scenarios that play out for sure. And we've talked with some of our friends. They're flipping them. They're able to buy them at the right number, and that makes the owner whole. But sometimes the owner's not made whole, and then the bank's not made. So anyways, this is a big mess in some cases. Millie, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Millie Athanason, law offices of Millicent B Athanason, AthanasonLaw.com. All right. Hey, another great show. We had Jennie Restrepo on the front end reminding us about the free property fraud alert. All you have to do is Google that, and you'll find that for your county. Sign up for that alert. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.